feds. Because
the interesting thing to me is that the ones that claim that they believe the Constitution are now trampling the Constitution. The ones that said they believed in the First Amendment, the freedom of speech, right, are now going against the freedom of speech.
Leadership perspective.
They don't have no plan. They don't ever talk about nothing positive about the Democrat Party. Everything is just anti-Trump. They're not willing to have a conversation. They call us fascists. We willing to have a conversation. Charlie Kirk's willing to have a conversation.
That on my social media as well. I think Israel, and I'm talking about the government of Israel, I think these people, they literally are trying to start World War III. It's completely out of control. It will never end. War will continue when Israel is pushing the United States and demanding that we wage war with them. It will continue as long as we're alive. It will never end. And Lindsey Graham, I saw a video of him this morning, and he was choking back tears, swallowing back tears, because he was saying he was so proud of President Trump for declaring war and going to war with Iran. He wasn't choking back tears for the American military members that have been killed and their families who are mourning their deaths right now. He's choking back tears because he's so happy about war. Megan, I can remember on a campaign stage in Lindsey Graham's home county where he was born and went to elementary school, where he's from. I stood on that stage and spoke before him, and I said, no more foreign wars, no more regime change. And I said, we're going to end the war in Ukraine. The crowd went nuts, thousands of people. Then Lindsey Graham came out right behind me and spoke right after me, and they booed him for 10 minutes on stage. That was a little over, I think it was about a year and a half ago. It was during the campaign. They booed him in his home county for 10 minutes straight. But when you watch a video like that from the former prime minister of Israel, all I can think about is the military-industrial complex. Those guys are lighting up their cigars, drinking their whiskey, and patting each other on the back because all they can think about is how much money they're going to make off the American taxpayers, making bombs, building new aircraft, building new drones, and building all kinds of military equipment just to kill people all over the world. While the American people, all they want is to be able to fucking afford a house, afford health insurance, and be able to maybe live the dream like the baby boomers did and live a family that can live on a single family income and not have both parents working themselves to death so their children have to live in daycare and grow up in daycare. And that's the reality that we're in, Megan. It is America last, and it makes me want to vomit. I don't even know if I ever want to vote again. I am so disgusted. Democrats destroyed this country for 4 years, and now Republicans, and we didn't vote for the Lindsey Grahams and the Mark Levins and fucking Laura Loomer. She needs to go over there to Israel because they need 100,000 reservists, and she's 32 years old, so she should go fight in that war too. That's not MAGA. That is not MAGA. That's not America first. This isn't what we voted for, and I can tell you right now, neither party gives us anything. It's back and forth, and it's the uniparty always wins. And this time, it's not even the uniparty for America. It's literally Israel first, and then where is it going to stop?
Disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed on this panel show are those of the individual speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of this channel, its affiliates, sponsors, or production team. This content is intended for informational and entertainment purposes only. Viewer discretion is advised. We encourage respectful dialogue and critical thinking around the topics discussed.
Party. Why I like the new party? Number one, it's a group of people that's on a panel. We all have differences, but we all basically still come together at the end of the day. The new party for me is about unity. The new party for me is about educating people to the truth, letting people know what's been going on in our country. With that being said, shout out to the new party, man. We're going to keep it going with y'all.
You're muted, Nora.
Sorry. Welcome to the new party. I'm Nora Christie.
I'm Gray Mars.
Andre Williams.
I'm Kim.
It's Mia.
And I'm Enzo.
And tonight on the new party, we have very hot topics. First, we are going to kick it off with Is the Iran war linked to biblical ties? And then we're going to end talking about the Clintons' disastrous deposition on the Epstein files. As you saw in that first clip, Marjorie Taylor Greene kicked it off. She's fired up. You know, she has now resigned. Enzo, your people in the chat, they're crashing out. They're saying they hate Marjorie Taylor Greene. Why does MAGA hate Marjorie Taylor Greene now? When
Well,
she was
first
the
off,
queen of MAGA. I know you're not MAGA, but
yeah.
a lot of MAGA hate Marjorie Taylor Greene now.
Well, first off, I just want to point out her hypocrisy with the military-industrial complex, because right here, quick Google search, Marjorie Taylor Greene publicly disclosed in reporting on how MTG has invested in several defense and military-linked companies in recent years: Lockheed Martin, Raytheon RTX, Qualcomm, Palantir.
There you go.
Calling out the military-industrial complex and the so-called neocons when she's literally invested in herself. This is why I've been calling MTG a clown, and anybody who's falling for her bullshit that she's throwing out there to rile up a base. Like, just come out and say you're a liberal and you're a hypocrite, and we will all accept you for that. It's okay. She's just putting on a mask right now. So, I mean, nobody's really crashing out over this, because, I mean, the real people in the Republican Party have been calling out Marjorie Taylor Greene for years. I don't care if she was like the queen of MAGA or whatever it was. I've been watching her for years now, and I've been calling her out to be a clown the entire time. So,
well, then we've covered the Iran war for 3 nights now. We haven't heard from Andre and Kimberly, so we'll be having them go first. But our take tonight is going to be commenting on what the commanders said in a meeting. It's now been leaked that the commanders are saying this is a war on biblical Armageddon. This is going to be the second coming of Jesus Christ. They're trying to manifest it and have it come to fruition. But before we get into that, this clip talks about a recap of day 2, very critical of it. And I'm going to have Andre and Kimberly give their take if they support the war.
With Iran spiraling out of control at a pace I didn't even think was fucking possible. Trump has already come out and said this might take 4 to 5 weeks, but then you got other generals out there saying that we don't have enough fucking interceptor missiles to last 4 or 5 weeks. On top of that, it's our other allies in the region, right? The UAE came out and they said they can't last another week. Iran is putting so much pressure on all of our allies around there, right, that let us use those bases. And if we can't protect them, then they have no reason to remain our allies. This is the chess Iran is playing. Iran is playing for all the fucking cards on the deck. They said, this is where it fucking ends. So, you know how Trump asked for a ceasefire and they were like, no, fuck this, dude. We're finishing this right here. And Trump's like, ground troops aren't out of the fucking question. It's like, no, ground troops are totally out of the question, because look at a fucking map. There's no way to get in. Afghanistan and Iraq are so unstable, there is no way to put an army there in significant numbers enough to invade Iran. Not to mention, it's ringed with fucking mountains that you can't fucking cross without getting ambushed up a motherfucker. The only other way in is the Straits of Hormuz, and those are the hot gates, the 300. There's no taking that straight. It's not fucking possible. People, for millennia, gigantic armies have ground themselves into dust against completely defensible positions. Some ground cannot be contested, and some battles should never be fought, and this is one of them, and we have no fucking off-ramp now. They went in there. This should be good. It started as Operation Epstein Fury, and now this should be called Operation No Fucking Plan B, because even it's going so fucking poorly. Marco Rubio came out and he said it right out loud. He said, we had to attack Iran because we had intelligence that Israel was going to attack anyway, and then we'd be caught flat-footed and we wouldn't have fucking struck.
Okay, Andre, before you respond, I do want to give an update. They say that the airstrikes inside Iran are intensifying and going positively. I don't know how true that is, but that's what I've heard. But unfortunately, all the options for who is to take over the regime have been killed by the Trump administration. So as somebody that actually served in a uniform, thank you for your service. What is your thoughts? Was this good, us going in? Yes or no?
Well, one, let me say I was not a combat MOS. I don't, I served, but I was not someone who saw any combat. So I just want to put that. There are people who can give way better insight on how this would look and how this would go about it. I can give my perspective. This is terrible. This is probably the worst shit we could ever have. But it's good for Israel and it's good for Jewish supremacy, Jewish power. They love it. This is what they've been planning for the last 40 years. They've been doing it to every country in proximity to Iran, Iraq, Syria, Lebanon. We're looking at them pushing into Lebanon right now. They want to establish a buffer zone. That's what the IDF and as well as many Israeli politicians have talked about for years. We're seeing the destabilization of the Middle East, and every operation we've done come into play. And I mean, yeah, we're looking at boots on the ground into Iran. It's not going to be good. That's not a good time. I mean, look how it went in Afghanistan. The more mountainous regions of Afghanistan didn't work out too well. This isn't a fucking a desert that people are just going to walk in and find some camels and no, this is going to be a very hard time, and a lot of Americans are going to die. And I think we have more troops in the region. I don't think we ever had that since Desert Storm, Desert Shield. And people are like, "Oh my goodness, this is Israeli disarrangement syndrome." No, nigga, I want America first. The people who voted for Trump originally in 2015, that watched him clown George Bush and Bill Clinton and Daddy Bush and Barack Obama because of their failed foreign policy, because of their failure in the Middle East, the same Donald Trump that we voted for originally, he wasn't for these endless wars in the Middle East. He wasn't for. He talked about how the Bush administration lied about WMDs, which we all know is a fact. There were no WMDs in Iraq. That's a fact. That's verifiable. They sat back and they pushed the same lie over and over again. Oh, Iran's building nuclear weapons. Guess who has nuclear weapons in the Middle East? Israel has nuclear weapons. They acquired that illegally, stole the information, and covertly made this entire nuclear program behind their backs. You know who has nuclear weapons? It's an Islamic country, Pakistan. These people can barely wipe their ass. They smell, and they've got fucking nuclear weapons. Think about that. They're got camels and curry shit, and they've got nuclear weapons. And we're going to complain about Iran getting one? Get the fuck out of here. This is bullshit. Israel has nuclear weapons and has been the greatest threat to peace in the Middle East and even the world. And this is our downfall. You know, it's sad that being 250 years as a nation, we are occupied by Jews who have pushed us to go to war on their behalf. And now we have to sit back and pay the price. And we're looking at on every social media platform, these people are flooding people's comments with this pro-Israel bullshit. We know that anyone who actually voted for Trump originally, the original America First movement that surrounded Trump in 2015, we were not for fucking pro-war. We were not for war with Iran. We were not for war in the Middle East. We shit on all of that shit. And Trump has betrayed us. And the entire Republican Party that love him today, the Lindsey Grahams, hated him yesterday. The Marco Rubios, they fucking hated Donald Trump. All these people you see, the Ted Cruz, they fucking hated him. But now they love him because guess what? They're doing the bidding of the military-industrial complex and Jews and Zionists within government. That's all I really got to say.
Oh, man. So, Kimberly, how do you follow up with that? I want to know, why do you think, from a pacifist standpoint, why is this bad? But I don't want you just to focus on, like, obviously, I know you're anti-war, but why should we not have taken this on?
From just a pacifist point of view, it's immoral, but also from an America First point of view, it's expensive. We've gone into trillions of dollars worth of debts just to fund these endless wars and just to make these arms manufacturers and spyware companies a lot richer. It's a war of the elites, and unfortunately, we're the pawns. Are you going to show a clip about the religious thing? Is that a separate conversation? Okay, then I'll go into that in a bit.
I'll play the clip first and then I'll bounce back to you, Kim.
Okay, go ahead.
So guys, the biggest thing about this conversation, me and Kimberly, who's a Christian on the panel? Raise your hand. It's like 3, 4, 5. All right, 6. So majority of the panel is Christian, and open up the Bible, y'all, because I'm about to say I have mixed feelings on this war, but I do not support this religious BS because this is not what the Bible says. And we're going to have a conversation tonight on it. Here is one of the most favorite pastors of America. He's a Zionist pastor, John Hagee. This is what he had to say.
Thank you, Mr. President, for being a friend of Israel.
Oh, wow. He got a hell of a forehead.
God bless you for having the courage to do what others feared to do. God bless our fighting forces in the Middle East in the brilliant execution. God bless our forces in the Middle East in the brilliant execution of Operation Epic Fury. Today we will discover in Bible prophecy that God has an Operation Fury. He has planned for Iran and Russia in the near future. Stay tuned in the television audience. Let's read Psalms 122, 6 through 9. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem. May they prosper who love you. Peace be within your walls, prosperity within your palaces. For the sake of my brethren and companions, I will now say, peace be unto you. Because of the house of the Lord our God, I will seek your good. Can we pray together? Our most gracious Heavenly Father, as we gather in this house today, we pray for the peace of Jerusalem and the many Christians in Iran that will now be free to worship you in spirit and in truth. The Word of God commands us to pray for the peace of Jerusalem, for they shall prosper that love you. We thank you for the fabulous military victory over the enemies of Israel this week. The Bible says, he that keepeth Israel neither slumbers nor sleeps. We thank you for our President, Donald Trump, whose wise courage has crushed the enemies of Zion. Today we rejoice in the prophetic scriptures of Ezekiel revealing God's Operation Fury for the enemies of Israel in the near future. King David writes in the Psalms concerning Israel, you shall break them with a rod of iron. You shall dash them in pieces like a potter's vessel.
Okay, Kim, what Bible he reading from? Because my Bible said you cannot manifest this. This is spiritual manipulation. And if you guys go to a church that is praying like this and talking like this, I'm going to pray that you find a new church. But keep going.
I sat through that out of respect for you. Honestly, that was horrible. That was so long. I wanted to throw up. But so I don't really buy this whole religious bullshit. They're doing it because they're making themselves rich. And I'm not one to punch down at voters, but this whole religious argument that they're spewing is sadly to get a lot of the voters on board for it. And I mean, I don't believe that scripture actually confirms that there is an antichrist, but if there was, it would be collectively American right-wing evangelical Christians, and the pinnacle of that was the Charlie Kirk death conference. This is disgusting. This is completely the opposite of everything that Jesus stood for. Jesus was a pacifist and a socialist and a humanitarian. And I think when people use the religious argument to propagate war, it speaks for itself, really. I think what's sad is the people who believe that. The reason why we're in Iran right now is because it's the last of the 7 countries from the clear break strategies that Israel has had since 1996. And the reason why they have that, they wanted that clean break strategy, is for dominance in the region, aka for oil. It's just the same reason why they couped Iran in 1953, because the British Petroleum, the then country, the actual democratic country of Iran, wanted to nationalize the oil, which they did, but BP didn't want that. So MI6, CIA went in there, couped the country. They installed a dictator, a literal monarchy, and then that led to the 1979 revolution, which leads us to the very repressive regime that we have now in Iran. And I'm sympathetic towards anybody who, like when you see Iranians celebrating the ending of that oppressive regime. Sadly, history will prove that it never ends well. Whenever the U.S. intervenes, it always ends worse, like with Libya, for example, and honestly, dozens of other examples. But that's the real reason why we're in the war. The whole religious argument, really, for me, is so disgusting, and it's so sad because it's, like I said, completely antithetical to anything that Christ stands for. And sadly, a lot of these gullible American voters are eating it up, and ironically are going to force the end times, because we're really just like starting a really, really disastrous war with a lot of very powerful people in play, and it could end very badly. And these people don't give a fuck. They have their bunkers. If anybody out there has a bunker, please let me know. I'll be your friend. But it's scary. It really is, and it's a shame.
So I want to get Lamb Chop in here. Lamb, I'm going to play this clip because Kimberly's point, there has been a clip that everyone's been talking about where a representative of Israel said that after Iran, they plan to go after this country next, or this country is the next threat.
Turkish threat is emerging. I want to be very clear. Turkey and Qatar have gained influence in Syria, are seeking influence elsewhere and everywhere throughout the region. And from here, I warn, Turkey is the new Iran. Erdogan is sophisticated, dangerous, and he seeks to encircle Israel. And while some senior Israelis were on Qatar's payroll, Qatar and Turkey are nourishing the Islamic Brotherhood monster that is growing and eventually might become as dangerous as the one created by Iran. Turkey and Qatar are gaining influence not only in Syria, but also in Gaza, through the front door, and everywhere, and trying to create a new choke ring. Turkey is trying to flip Saudi Arabia against us and establish a hostile Sunni axis with nuclear Pakistan.
So guys, whoever's watching, please hit the like button. But Lamb,
Yes,
what is
ma'am.
your response to that? Why are they now saying after Iran, Turkey is the next threat? Which I want to put out there for everyone to know. Turkey is a member of NATO,
yeah.
the alliance that we're in. So go ahead.
Listen, they can hope for Turkey and want Turkey all they want, but they're not going to get Turkey. Like it's that simple. Like we won't allow them to get Turkey. NATO's not going to allow them to get Turkey. Also, going back to the first video that we played, for the record, Marjorie Taylor Greene, I did a little homework. She brought 0 affordability bills to Congress. She brought 0 affordability bills to her state. So she can kindly take a short walk off of a very, very long pier, for all I care. As far as the whole Strait of Hormuz thing, for the record, I don't really know who's going to stop us, because as of this morning, the entire Iranian Navy is gone. It doesn't exist. Who's gonna stop us? Who's gonna close it? Because it's not going to be Iranian oil tankers. They're not going to get involved. Russia doesn't have the financial backing or the financial depth to get involved. And China's entire capability, entire goal is to invade Taiwan in 2027. And they've already openly said they're not going to get involved. The only thing they're giving Iran is moral backing. So I don't really know who's going to get involved when it comes to closing the Strait of Hormuz. As far as like the whole Pakistani nuke thing, Pakistan has openly, directly threatened to use nukes on the United States openly in a very long time. Iran has done it multiple times. Matter of fact, not only that, I would say it's enough for attack a country when a country is openly getting caught plotting assassinations on presidential candidates and former presidents. For those that aren't aware, you need to look up the Farhad Shakiri plot and the Asif Merchant plot, both in 2024, one of which got openly caught on an undercover FBI agent on video. And that court case starts this month. Also consider the fact that Iran has openly targeted U.S. military bases and U.S. service members over 200 times since 2020 is also enough. Like, everybody thinks this is a big World War III thing. China and Russia has openly said that they're not getting involved. the Ayatollah, the son of Khamenei, that was put in as Ayatollah today, got eliminated in under 3.5 hours. They went to go have a National Security Council meeting this morning. The IDF took down the entire building. They they can keep trying, they can keep throwing stuff at us, but now you have Saudi Arabia working with the United States. You have Qatar, Jordan, Oman. Lebanon has now just told historically Israel they don't give a fuck. Go after Hezbollah. As long as you don't hit Lebanese infrastructure, we don't care. Like, everybody is thinking that this is going to be like this big historical biblical thing. The Iranian people have somebody who they like. There's a good portion of the Iranian people who they want. And now that it's also come out that the CIA has been smuggling weapons into Western Iran for the volunteer Kurds, they now have weapons against the IRGC to fight back, which they haven't had this entire time. So, like, I don't know why everybody's all up in arms. Yeah, like, my heart goes out to the American service members that will be lost during this. It's awful. I don't think, like, I'm not wishing this on anybody, but this is a multifaceted thing, and I don't think anybody, like, this isn't just like a we're going for Israel kind of thing. No, we're going to affect China, who gets over 60% of oil from the Middle East.
Why is that a good thing? This is the retarded part that most of the people on the right are losing. And this is why we don't have a movement anymore, because we have all these establishment cucks over here supporting Jewish influence and Jewish supremacy in our country. None of that's good. So let's go back to what you said about, well, these people are threatening America. They've threatened the United States with nuclear weapons. Well, guess what? Like I said, you've got Israel who has nukes, and you've got Pakistan who has nukes. Pakistan Osama bin Laden, wasn't he caught in Pakistan? Didn't he go back and forth into Pakistan? Wasn't the Pakistanis working with Al-Qaeda? Weren't they always transitioning back into this country? I mean, what the fuck are we talking about? Most of the terrorist groups that have popped up over the last 40 years have been supported by the CIA, Mossad, and the GID, the Saudi intelligence community. Mm-hmm. So we've sat back and backed these people. We've funded these people. We've given them money through the CIA. We've done it through USAID. We've done it extensively. And we've built these people up, and they've destroyed these countries. And then guess what? We sit back and we know they're not going to be able to run it. And it turns into Syria. It turns into Iraq. It turns into Libya, a slave capital. And now we have to deal with the ramifications of that. What are we going to get? Like the 2011 color revolutions? We're going to get the Arab Spring, and that turns into absolutely nothing. These countries are now fucked over because of that. I mean, I don't know why we have all this Jewish bootlicking, like this establishment bootlicking. The people who voted for no war, no more endless wars, that part of MAGA, the original MAGA movement, is dead. And it's been replaced by these grifters and these, people who are completely, they're children in this conversation of what the Trump movement was originally for. Like, we weren't for this when he bombed Syria in 2017. We found it to be completely disgusting. We supported Assad because guess what? Assad was going to keep things in control, keep things in power. Same thing with Saddam Hussein. Same thing with Gaddafi. We got rid of these people, and now these countries are shitholes. And if we look at Syria, I mean, the guy running it now was on a hit list, was on a CIA hit list for years, and now he's the buddy. Oh my goodness! And now the Syrians are talking about putting troops near the Lebanese border to support Israel. What the fuck are we dealing with? What are we doing? This shit is stupid. I don't think it's biblical. I really don't care about that. I really, honestly, I think that's important, but I do think that's a very normie perspective. It's either Republican, Democrat shit, or it's, well, this is about Christianity. You get the evangelical Christians that come in who are mostly retarded and probably the worst Christians ever. I honestly hate evangelicals. They're stupid. They've proven that throughout the 90s and 2000s. They're fucking stupid. The Joel Osteen motherfuckers, the Billy Grahams. These people are retarded. And I'm sorry to say it, Charlie Kirk as well was a weak Christian. I am tired of this ass-kissing Christianity that has made our people, Christian civilization, so weak. Because we've been dominated by Jews, and then also we've been allowing Muslims to come in and fuck us over as well. But the main part at the end of the day is that we've been supporting. The reason for why they chant death to America, the main reason for why they chant death to America is because we support Israel. The reason for why Osama bin Laden crashed or planned the 9/11 attack, which we all know that Israel was involved with that. The reason for why they've done that is because we support Israel. We're killing their racial brethren. We're attacking their religious homelands. And they're not going to tolerate that. If that was going on here in the United States, we fight to the fucking death. We would scorch earth this shit if this was us. If this was happening to the United States, the American people, we scorch earth, motherfucker. But the moment happening to, the camels over here, it's like, well, this is good. Are you going to go sign up and go fight? And when it gets really hot, because like I said, this is not a good war. This is not something that's going to be a walk in the park. This isn't like, we're just going to go and ride in the desert. This is something that can get very brutal. These people are determined to fight, and they have a long history of being determined to fight. And it's not going to be a good thing. So all the people who are supportive of this shit, you better be willing to go sign up. And I'll come with you if you want me to. I'll fucking do it. But if we're really going to, push for this war, we better have a fucking plan, and we better be ready for the occupation that comes with that. And this isn't about China. The China shit and the Russia shit, you're showing me you have no understanding of geopolitics if you're including China into the discussion, honestly.
Is China not trying to go after Taiwan in 2027? Which if they were getting control of the semiconductors would actually fuck our
Taiwan is a part of China.
Hold on. I would say this. So, yes, Taiwan is a part of the du jour, the historical du jour. They can do whatever they want. It's like if we want to reclaim Alaska or, if we want to reclaim Hawaii, like that's ours. It's always been us. We're going to fucking do what we want to. If we lost Hawaii tomorrow and, for 50 years, it was no longer in our possession, we're going to come back and say, guess what? We want Hawaii, baby. I want to go fucking surfing with the kids. We're going to take that shit. So China can do whatever they want within their sphere of influence. Too bad. We need to fix ourselves. That's what we get. That's what we get for NAFTA. That's what we get for the TPP. That's what we get for shipping our jobs overseas to China and into the Pacific. That's what the fuck we get. You can blame Bill Clinton. You can blame Daddy Bush, Bush Jr., Obama, and the rest, and even Trump for that. This is what happens when you have weak politicians that don't serve the interests of the American people.
I mean, you're not going to get an argument out of me regarding that, but I think we should do anything in our absolute fucking power to stop China.
Why? China hasn't been in war since 1979. They're dominating the world through
Well, pause. We need to allow other people to talk that haven't talked yet. Mia, what's your thoughts?
My thoughts are this is the crazy timeline we're on now, man. I can't believe I'm living through like another weird time in history. I mean, at the end of the day, I think pride comes before the fall. And I think as Americans, we don't quite know what losing feels like. So we have this idea that we're never going to lose. But pride always comes before the fall. We can ask the Romans, we can ask the Greeks, we can ask the Sumerians. I mean, we can ask the Atlanteans if you believe that. Pride always comes before the fall. And I think people think this is going to be like Venezuela and we're going to go in and we're going to blah, blah, blah. We're going to get out. No, these people are here to fight. They're here to fight. And I think the fact that we look at them as primitive and we look at them as less than really gives them more of an advantage. They knew last year after our first attack that we were coming back. People have been predicting this before Donald Trump was even elected, that he was going to be elected and that we were going to invade Iran, period. Like they predicted this before any of us even started talking about this. And I think these people are going to give us a run for our money. And the fact that we are running out of munitions isn't a good sign either. The fact that Iran is using $20,000 drones and we are using $3 million Patriot missiles. And I mean, I'm telling you, buddy, what Patriot missiles, it's not something you can go to Costco and buy on deck. Okay. So right now, the fact that it was only supposed to be a few days and then all of a sudden Hegseth says now 4 to 6 weeks, 4 to 5 weeks isn't a good sign. Plus now we're getting footage of Donald Trump screaming in Pete's face. Clearly that's not a good sign. We're now getting intel of Congress members saying that it's going to require ground troops to actually complete this. And I'm going to be honest, I've been around enough flatlanders in my life. I don't know how the fuck the United States military is going to do mountains at that extent. It's not like, I just think pride comes before the fall. And I think a lot of people are not quite prepared to lose at this point in time.
Thank you, Mia. That was very well said. Gray, before you respond, Andre, you have a fan. Iron Cowboy said, Andre, the brown on brown, a working bro, fire fashion designer. You look like a walking turd. I think you look nice.
They sent you $5. That's very nice.
I think they
exactly. Thank you for the $5.
Can I say one more thing? And I will say the biggest difference between what we have going on now to, let's say, Iraq and Afghanistan is now we don't have any friends. You know, Iraq and Afghanistan, the Brits were there, the French were there, the Australians were there. Like, these people were backing us. No
That's
hands
not
down,
true.
nothing. They were backing us. They sent their troops there with ours back in
That's
2001.
not true. The entire Middle East, majority of the Middle East is on our side. They don't like Iran.
You didn't hear what I said.
The
I
French
didn't
is also
say
deploying a carrier to
I did not say the Middle East is against us. I said one of the key differences is Europeans aren't with us this time like they were last time. So that's just less friends we have with us. And the enemy of my enemy is my friend until it doesn't serve them anymore. So eventually the Middle East is going to be tired of being bombed by Iran. So if we don't take care of this problem quickly, you know how many desalination plants they have there? If they hit one desalination plant in Saudi Arabia, that's 60% of the water that they have will be done in 2 weeks. That's all it takes is 1 or 2 strategically placed missiles for desalination plants. Okay. So, I mean, at this point in time, we're going to have to choose. We're going to have to figure out what we're doing here because it doesn't feel like there's a big game plan going on. It just feels like we're here and then they're not planning for what comes next.
That's not
I
true.
think it is
That's
hubris.
not true. England is saying that they're going to back us. France is saying they're going to back us. That's not true.
Actually,
That's not
she's
true.
right. UK
That's
just
not
said they're
true.
not gonna. The UK just came out and said that they're not gonna let the US fire missiles from where they're at. They just said that.
The UK just said that, or Spain just said that.
Spain.
The UK, Keir Starmer.
Keir Starmer gave us
Yeah,
access
you
to
said that.
Diego Garcia.
Yeah.
We're now taking planes off from Diego Garcia and Raf Fairborn.
Yeah.
They gave us access, and the France is deploying the Charles de Gaulle to the Hormuz Strait.
Well, we're going to lose now. The French are getting involved. Oh, shit.
Yeah, I know. Well, listen, they
Yeah,
also
they're
said
the
that they
smart
are now making nuclear warheads. I pictured, that Acme missile that essentially waves out a white flag when it launches.
Yeah. I could see that from the French. The baguettes don't know what they're doing, so they've lost their touch.
Yeah, I mean, we have 15
We get some good
nations
French
now.
fries.
We have 15 nations now involved. We have Saudis flying with us. We have the Kuwaits flying with us. We have 15 nations flying with us.
Yeah, but still, why is that good? That's the whole thing. I mean, good is kind of like who gives a fuck about good or bad? I mean, it really doesn't matter. But how does that benefit the average American? How is the average American going to gain something from war in Iran? It's really going to piss
Trump
off
keeping his
a
promise
lot
from
of the American
2015.
working class.
Trump keeping his promise.
It's not a
from
promise from 2015.
Yeah, it is.
That was
When he
not one of
on
his promises.
Yeah, yes, it was. Yes, it was.
No,
when
it
he
was
was on
not.
the campaign
As
trail,
one
when
of
he
the
was asked,
one of the
hold
most
on, no,
earliest people, as someone who supported Trump
when he was
early on,
asked
that was
on
not
the
one of those
campaign
campaign
trail.
promises.
Real? Should I pull the
Laura,
clip?
I didn't get my turn.
You could pull the clip. I remember
I'll pull
all
the
the
clip
clips.
where he
I
says,
remember
"I'ma
watching the
bomb the
rallies.
shit
I
out of
remember
them."
going to the rallies
I'm gonna
very
pull the
young
clip
in
where he
high
says, "I'ma
school. I
bomb
remember
the
going
shit
to
out
the
of them."
rallies.
Boom. Watch this.
He never said, "Let's go to war with Iran. Let's do boots
Well,
on the ground." He
hold on.
criticized Bush for that extensively.
While Enzo pulls that up, Gray,
Done.
we've talked about it 6 times, but you can give your thoughts. What's your opinion? Is this biblical end times? Like, what do you think?
Trump's the Antichrist. If you look at all of the characteristics, it looks like Trump is the Antichrist, and the MAGA hat is a symbol of the beast. So I'll go with my biblical scholar part on this. People called Obama the Antichrist. And by Obama and Trump are the main people that I've seen being accused of being the Antichrist. And they both say that the person is charismatic and this person's going to be a beast. But Nora, you're the one that told me that the Sami guy, whatever his name is, had cancer and he was about to die. And
So
Trump,
let me be clear. I don't support when we did this, but I do support why we did it, because I'm not just looking at it from Israel. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. When y'all keep talking about Israel, y'all then mix in Muslims, and then it just becomes like a hodgepodge of hate. I'm not going to lie to you, because it's one minute you guys hate Israel, then you also hate the Muslims. Which is it? Like, honest, like I can't keep up, but I can't keep up with bullshit. Like, the reality is people are supporting this. This is good because for me, I'm going to say it. Yeah, it was the wrong timing. If we would have waited another year, dude was going to die. I think that's what frustrates me. Why couldn't we have waited? And that's where I think Israel gets involved. Israel put the pressure on us.
no, hold
But
on, you
the
let me
reason
finish.
why-
You let me finish.
Okay, go ahead, because you brought up something I talked about, and I want to make sure I answer that too.
Trump himself said that the people that he was going to have take over Iran have already been blown up. So they don't even have a plan of who they want to take over. Literally, the people he wanted to take over, they blew up. So I don't know if this is a biblical thing, but I've heard from MAGA people myself in my personal life that said, oh, well, Trump isn't the Antichrist. He's the person that helps the Antichrist. Very religious people. So that's my biblical take on that.
What he means
I will
by
say
that,
go ahead.
as far as like the people that would be taking out. So when the protests were happening, they went around and they were slaughtering the protesters, but they were also slaughtering the leaders of those protests. There was estimated that there was 35,000 unalive. It's probably a lot higher. I would say probably conservatively, it's probably closer to 40. But there were people that were leading that movement that people did want that were unalived. Now, as far as like who leads next, unfortunately, it's probably gonna have to be Reza Pahlavi, which I really don't want. There are like a third of Iranians. For those that don't know who Reza Pahlavi, he is last of the Shah. A third of the Iranians want the Shah back, but there's really nobody left, and I don't really want anybody from the sitting IRGC to take over that country. I don't want a Khomeini loyalist. Anybody that's a Khomeini loyalist, like,
you're an American. Why would you care? You live in the United States. Who cares?
Because if it's a Khomeini loyalist, they're going to continue funding the H groups. If they're a Khomeini loyalist, they're going to continue funding the H groups.
The CIA and the Mossad.
CIA is funding Hamas, the Houthis, and the Hezbollah.
The CIA, most definitely. They have a long history of supporting and funding many of these terrorist groups that have turned on us, or it's just been dual assets. That's something
that's H groups.
We talk to the intelligence community. Excuse me?
They're funding the H groups.
Are they funding terrorist groups? Yes.
No.
We've always
I'm
funded
talking about
terrorist groups.
specifically the Iranian-backed
We
H
have
groups. I know
Are the Iranians? Yes,
I-
these are freedom fighters. Hezbollah and Hamas, freedom fighters. Of course, they're going to fund them.
So
I would expect them to fund them. But guess what? If there was in certain, guess what? If Russia took over all of Europe, everything to the Bay of Biscay, all the way up, everything in France, bordering the Pyrenees, everything. If Russia took all that over, we'd be supporting French terrorist groups. We'd be supporting, British, let's take some tea and crumpets and kick their ass terrorist groups to fight the Russians. We'll be doing it every day. We'd be funding them all the time. That's what
So
we'll
why
do.
are they doing it
And
in
that's what we've
Africa?
always been doing. Why are they doing it in Africa? Because Africa, so we have to understand what multipolarity is. So you have three main powers that are emerging in the world. The United States is not going to be the sole power anymore. I mean, this is how things are going to go. It's going to be Russia. It's going to be China, most definitely. And the United States. And I think you'll have various independent powers. They'll pop up in various different spheres of influence. But Africa, it's going to take another century for anything significant to rise out of it. Just economically, we look at intelligence. Just nothing's really going to come into fruition over like the next century. So Africa is a place where everyone is trying to take resources or trying to build up small governments or to build up movements. They've been doing this forever. I mean, that's how it's going to be. So I don't really know what your question is. Why are they building up in Africa? Why wouldn't they be? We are doing the same thing. We've always been doing it.
That's where the Houthis were primarily operating out of, were they not?
It's not even about the Houthis. It's more about resources. This is a class and race thing that most people don't want to have a conversation because they want to look like left and right or Jesus Christ and Islam. It's like it has nothing to do with the religious shit. It has everything to do with race and class. It has everything to do with power and how to wield that power. It's about civilizations, not this minor shit.
Sure.
Irony in what you just said.
Sure.
I just want to point this out. The
Sure.
irony of what Andre just said, that it is a class war, not a race or religious thing, when all that comes out of his mouth is Jew, 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 like he's trying out for Alex Jones.
Jews are race. Jews are race. Jews are a race. And
Jews are religion.
Jews are both a
Jewish
race.
is Judaism is religion.
No,
It's not a
Jews
race.
are a
It's not a
race.
race. It's not a race.
Jews have always classified themselves as separate from whites. They've always classified themselves as a race. Yes, they have. Historically, they are a race.
But it's
No,
the
it's not
irony
just a
that you're
religion.
saying that this is a class war. That's all I'm saying.
It is, most certainly.
Right now,
What?
it's a race. It's a Jew on here right now. Nora's Jewish.
Yeah, race is a
That's not a
because
race.
it's-
Jew
it's
is a religion.
ethnicity.
Judaism
Well, I'm
is a
not
religion.
Jewish. Wait a minute. You better stop.
No,
Like,
they're not. Literally.
Like, stop. Like, in my DNA, it says I'm 4% Sephardic Jewish. That's what he's talking about, and 3% Ashkenazi Jewish.
Oh
That's what he's
no.
talking about. But I do think it is. It is. I can only speak from my experience we have Moroccan Jews in my father's country. So I can only speak from my experience. So in my experience, it is a race, like, and it's also a religion. You can be you can be Jewish and your religion. It's both, right?
It's both. I just want to add,
go ahead, Kim, because
the whole prophecy of the end times and the Book of Revelation was an allegory for the end of the Roman Empire, and we can see the parallels to that with the hubris. I think that's what the quote unquote, or at least from now, what Trump thinks he had success in Venezuela, that remains to be seen, gave him really more of that confidence to try something else again. And he has a lot of people in his ear. The Saudis want it, the Israelis want it. So at the end of the day, it is a power thing. There are, like I've said before, our real masters, we don't know who they are. We don't see them. They control everything we hear, everything we read, everything we smell, everything we eat, everything in our lives. And they are our real masters. And they're groups of elites all over the world. And we're the pawns of that. And they try to convince us through like these fake pseudo like geopolitic narratives. They try to convince us through these fake religious narratives. All of it's a lie. At the end of the day, they're just trying to make each other rich. And they're already looking at the next war, because it's an endless cycle of war, because they have to keep the war machine going, because if not, then their stocks will go down and they'll lose a lot of money. So they're always looking for the next war, even before it has even started. Also, I'm for the abolition of NATO. They should have abolished NATO after the fall of the Soviet Union in 1991. Hooray, we defeated communism. But here we are. NATO's honestly just an arms trafficking corporation that the United States uses to freaking wreak havoc all over the world. But yeah, just wanted to make that connection. The end times in the Book of Revelation is an allegory for the end of the Roman Empire. It's a metaphor, and unfortunately they're forcing it to truth now through their ambitions to continue these wars at the expense of us.
Okay, that was well said. Mia, I'm gonna let you have the closing thoughts on this before we move on.
I guess I don't want to say I'm anti-war. I would just prefer to have more of a purpose for war. And I think at this point in time, America First tells me that we need affordable housing, tells me that we have starving people in this country, tells me that we have a lot of problems in this country, but yet we can afford a $3 million Patriot missile to be shot out every 15 seconds when nobody bats an eyelash. But for some reason, we don't want to feed kids. We don't want to house Americans. We don't want to clothe Americans. We don't want to build infrastructure. We don't want to replace our roads, our bridges. We don't want to do anything that would literally improve every single American life, something that is tangible, that we can touch, that's tactile. But of course, as Kimberly said, and as Andrea said, and even Lantroth has said, I mean, terrorism is a construct of American military complex. We pay the terrorists commit these atrocities, and then we spend all of this money on defense. We pay all these contractors in order to keep this machine going in response to that. So we pay the terrorists commit terror, and then we spend all this money on the defense. And then what do you know? It just keeps circling like one big circle jerk. So at the end of the day, if we're going to be real honest, it's the United States that's the biggest terrorist, because we pay these people to be this way, so we can respond to that with our budget. And then that's how it goes. That's how we keep our country afloat, because nobody's buying U.S. Treasury bonds anymore. The two things are keeping the United States afloat: defense spending, tech. That's it.
One big circle jerk. I love that.
Yes. So people in the chat's like, then we don't talk about religion anymore. Okay, we're going to switch gears. We ain't going to talk about religion anymore. We're going to talk about Bill and Hillary Clinton. Maybe this is something we can all agree on. Probably not. I'm sure Gray will be defending his Democrat compadres tonight. But here we go. This was the Depo. This is Hillary Clinton being asked about Pizzagate.
Okay, sure.
Fun.
Okay, so we have talked about those connections. In past public statements, as in 2017 speeches and interviews, you described Pizzagate as a baseless conspiracy theory. alleging you and others ran a child sex trafficking ring from a Washington pizzeria basement. Have you reviewed any 2025-2026 Epstein files that were released that you believe reference or relate to those specific 2016 claims regarding the Podesta emails, Comet Ping Pong Pizza used as code possibly?
I'm sorry, does
You're
this
asking
relate-
her about whether
Excuse me.
she's reviewed emails in
In
the
the Epstein
Epstein files, which relate to the wacky Pizzagate
You
scandal.
could characterize it however you want. I just would like to know if she's familiar with any of them.
So
She's
excuse me,
commenting.
your question is about whether or not she has reviewed any emails in the Epstein release files about Pizzagate.
Correct.
Pizzagate was totally made up. It was an outrageous allegation that ended up hurting a number of people, that caused a deranged young man to show up with his assault rifle and shoot up a local pizzeria. I can't believe you're even referencing it. You should be.
There are connections to the language. I'm
Well,
not
the
talking
QAnon
about-
people believe there are, so
I don't know what QAnon
have at
people
it.
believe.
Have at it.
But you've accused certain parties, and I think even right now today, of promoting slow walking or information in ways that fuels conspiracies. In your view, did any Epstein Maxwell related investigations or file handling pre or post 2019 contribute to or intersect with the spread of Pizzagate style theories about Democrat figures?
Objection.
I have
Calls
no
for
way of answering. That is the
impossible
most
speculation.
ridiculously.
Have you or your representatives identified any Epstein file content that has been misinterpreted online to revive those claims? And what steps, if any, have you taken to clarify?
Again, object on the ground of
I think that this is all very
Speculation.
reasonable.
Well, first of all, I don't follow the crazy conspiracy stories that are online. I regret that anybody does. I find it quite sad, but also disturbing that people would believe some of what is put forth, like Pizzagate. So I have taken no steps to review anything
Do you think
that might
pizza-
have any connection to something which I think is totally bogus.
John Podesta, your 2016 campaign chair, appears in some Epstein file contexts. Social overlaps or mentions. Were you aware of any of the Podesta related communications in the released files?
Can you
that have-
please provide examples or the evidence that you would like us to review or the exhibits that reflect that in
I
order
can-
for
I
her
can
to
get-
be able to
I
do
can get
that?
some exhibits and
somebody
pause
starts
this
with
question
speak to
in the
that when you
meantime.
provide those.
I will get those, and I will skip that question until we can.
Generally, if she's aware.
Generally, she is asking if she's aware of specific information that is in the files that you all are relying on. Please provide the witness with
If your
copies of that
client
materials.
doesn't know or has no recollection, she's welcome to state so.
We're also welcome to actually see the information that you're speaking
And
to.
again, the representative is asking general.
I mean,
general
really,
questions.
I mean, I expected a lot of interesting questions today, but Pizzagate was not on my list.
That's okay. We're asking all sorts of things here.
You certainly are. You certainly are.
We're just trying to get the truth out to the American people.
Well, that
and
would
get
be
some clarity.
very helpful.
Are you aware of any files that were on Anthony Weiner's laptop in a folder that was titled "Insurance, Life Insurance"?
He brought up the
with
Anthony
a,
Weiner stuff?
Zip file titled "Frazzled."
This is way outside the
Chairman's
scope.
ruling.
This
Is
is
this
way
within the
outside the
scope? Is this within the scope, Mr.
If
Chairman?
the chairman rules that it's not within the scope, I
Mr.
have
Chairman,
other
based on
questions.
what you said in the public hearing, is this within the scope?
We can go off the record for a moment to
Mr.
confirm.
Chairman.
Well, before we start, I'm going to have my resident conspiracy theorist respond, but I have to give props to the super chat. Thank you, Iron. We appreciate the love tonight because he's doing it on our side. Just like the one dude dancing by himself on So
Cajun Cowboy.
Bro,
This
so
gay ass
good
cowboy in his
live
car.
30 years ago. Andre, what do you have to say to that?
This gay ass nigga in his car with glasses on and the damn hat, like some Brokeback Mountain extra and shit. What the fuck? Gay iron cowboy, more like fag cowboy. Keep it out your asshole, my dude. But yeah. Listen, we got the style. That's what it is. I could be up here with a Nike Tech and a do-rag. Now, how that? And y'all call me a nigga. But I come up with some style. It's like, oh, no, it's good. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, that was fun. Shout out to bro. Shout out for the $5 to you guys.
Thank you. All right, Mia, you was excited. I played that clip for you. You didn't really get much talking time the last round. You were so patient. Kick it off. What you think about the questions?
I am like so blown away. They mentioned the Wiener laptop. I am like legitimately blown away, but whoever asked the question, I'm definitely a little impressed that they brought up the Wiener laptop. So make a long story short, Anthony Weiner was a man that was in Washington. He got caught cheating on his wife, blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, he had some alleged things on his laptop. And 9 officers viewed that laptop, and all 9 officers are dead in rapid succession. So do with that information what you will. All I'm saying is the 9 arresting officers were in there. They took that into custody. They saw what was on it for their, investigation, and every single one of them is dead. And Anthony Weiner was very close with the Clintons. He was close with John Podesta and all sorts of other Washington, D.C. folk. And then everybody who's seen that laptop's dead. I don't make the rules. I'm just saying. That's facts. They're all dead now. So do with that information what you will.
And Gray, this is your homie. This is the problem I got. More proof conservatism is a lie and Republicans are in a cult. Bro, we drag fucking Republicans every night. Now we finally have something that proves the conspiracies we've been saying, and y'all don't like it. Oh, don't talk about the Clintons. Shut up. Shut up. Stop crying. Anyways, because he cried, I'm going to allow Enzo to go next, and then I'll allow Andre since he cried. This is the clip. This is what Bill Clinton had to say about Trump. Let's listen.
I hate this, but because I don't believe I should inject anything. But I do not want to leave the impression, but since there was no follow-up question, the president never, this is 20-something years ago, never said anything to me to make me think he was involved in anything improper with regard to Epstein either. He just didn't. That's the truth. As I said earlier, the only conversation I had with President Trump about this was in the early 2000s. And I have no information that he did anything wrong. I just want it all out there. I want everybody to get it all out there and let everybody see where we are.
Since Gray loves to talk about my Muslim heritage, that is true. All Black people liked Bill Clinton. We have a picture of Bill Clinton in my grandmama's house. They were Jamaican and Black. I don't know. So this new Black people, those aren't Black people, but we had pictures of the Clinton. I remember that. Enzo, does this exonerate Trump? He said, I never saw him. He had nothing to do with it. I'm sure you're celebrating.
I'm not celebrating. It's just I like to be vindicated. And everything that I've been saying for over a year now, that there's nothing in the Epstein files that's going to implicate Donald Trump. There's nothing in there. Look at the timeline. 2006, that was 20 years ago. What did Donald Trump do in 2006? Oh, I don't know. He went to the fucking feds about Jeffrey Epstein. Like Bill Clinton said 20 years ago. I don't really care for this anymore. Like it's not even fun being right anymore when it comes to the whole Jeffrey Epstein shit. I'm so done talking about it because nothing is going to happen to anybody because the public wanted the files out there and now there's going to be no real justice. Yeah, sure, you got a couple people around the world that got arrested for things, but it has nothing to do with the Epstein case at all. We can go through the ones in Britain. Has nothing to do with Epstein at all. You had people stepping down from our public perception from shit that's in the files. That's it. No real evidence. Nothing. No real justice. You get people stepping down. That's justice to you guys? No, I wanted to see people behind bars. I wanted Congress to change laws, actually investigate things, and actually put people behind bars. My biggest question is with this whole deposition, When in a congressional hearing do you ever get to defer to your lawyer and your lawyer speak for you when you're asking questions in a congressional deposition?
Lawyers can step in during a
I've
deposition.
never seen that in anything like when they actually hold it in Congress. It's a little crazy to me.
Lawyers can make objections to the deposition. She's talking about the scope, right? So
I'm not talking about just that. I'm just talking in general.
yeah, lawyers do that. That's what lawyers.
I've never seen that in a congressional hearing ever. Never seen it with a congressional subpoena. The ones that are actually in Congress, never once have I ever, and I've watched hours upon hours upon hours upon hours on congressional hearings, have I ever seen a lawyer step in and try to speak for them or object to questions? Never once.
Andre, you're
Andre, you have a fan. Thank you again, Ian. He said, Andre, you're mad because you get the Steve Urkel part on Family Matters. Ouch. I mean, how are we going to go from Shaft to Family Matters? Come on, we need to stick with the generations. But I'm going to let Andre go next because clearly they want to hear from you. And this is what this is what he had to say about going to the island and getting massages.
Ever had contact with an individual by the name of Shantae Davies?
I believe Shantae that's a distinctive name, and so I think that was the name of one of his flight attendants.
Okay. She's been described on being on a 2002 Africa trip and providing massages. Was she or any other young female on that trip underage at that time?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. Did you ever receive a massage or have physical contact from her or anyone else on that trip?
You've seen the pictures. There was one time when I was sitting up and I got a back rub, a neck rub.
Okay.
And I think Shantae did it, but I'm not sure.
Okay. Did you ever visit Epstein's Little St. James Island?
No.
We have Virginia Guffrey, who has testified seeing you on the island with two young girls. Did this occur at all? Okay. Why do you think she would have made that claim?
Objection, speculation. You can't possibly.
Have you ever met her or any other Epstein associated underage girl?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay.
Andre, do you care? Do you don't care? What do you think?
I was gonna say, Bill Clinton will always be the first black president. Only niggas fuck their bitches at work. I'm gonna say that. Only niggas bring their hoes to work. That's why I like Bill. Bill's like, I'm gonna get these bitches here. Fuck all that other shit. My bitches come to me. I respect Bill for that. Bill will always be top tier, the first black president. Obama second. Just remember that. But anyway, I mean, I don't give a fuck. The Epstein file shit is over because we're seeing what they wanted play out right now on the global stage. I mean, they were going to blackmail a bunch of politicians and a bunch of corporate executives and get them to be more loyal to certain elements outside of our country, to compromise them, to pull favors. And that's exactly what they got. They got that on the global stage. They got that, with business in terms of trade. They got that on foreign policy when it comes to Israel and these wars. So, I mean, it doesn't matter anymore. It's fucking sad that our government is just so disgusting. And it should show people, like I said, it's a race and class thing, that the people at the top don't really care about Republican and Democrat. That shit doesn't matter. You're low IQ if you think that it's like Republican and Democrat. It's about class and then also about race. And we have a group of people who are suppressing us racially, both black and white Americans especially. We're affected by this and we've been subverted.
Well, I'm sure I would love to hear Gray defend it. Gray said that Clinton was his favorite president of all time. This is what Epstein had to say about Clinton.
Who testified in the Epstein cases that Epstein said, you quote, like them young. Why would Epstein say that about you?
Are you asking his opinion? You're asking him to think about why Mr. Epstein would say something about him?
Why would Epstein say that
So
about
she's
the
asking you
president?
to try to be in Mr. Epstein's mind and guess at what Mr. Epstein would have thought about.
Clinton likes them young, referring to girls.
First of all, that's not true.
What's not true?
That I have any interest in underage.
I didn't say underage, I said young.
But it's still not true.
Is an intern young?
Yes.
Okay.
At my age,
Did-
anybody younger than I
Did you
am is
know
young.
Jeffrey Epstein instructed a witness to deny you were ever on his island?
Man, I wonder if he has the touch of the Parkinson's.
Did you ever travel to Zorro Ranch?
That hand was shaking.
Is that the one in New Mexico?
Yes.
No.
Okay. Have you ever flown on anyone else's private jet 26 times or more for
Damn, he
overseas
did
trips?
not age well.
Nope.
Bill still
I
looks good.
have
Shut your mouth.
flown as many miles on other jets,
Black
but
don't
never
crack,
with as
all
many
right?
stops.
How many other people's planes have you used, like Epstein 26 times or miles, etc.?
I don't know. I did with Steve Bing, who's now deceased, and probably with 4 or 5 others.
Okay.
Interesting.
So maybe about a half dozen billionaires total. So, how many dinners did you have with Ghislaine Maxwell or Jeffrey Epstein in attendance?
She's asking to the best of your recollection.
I have no idea.
Okay. Did you ever discuss sexual misconduct allegations made against you with Epstein or Maxwell?
Never.
Did Epstein or Maxwell ever offer to help manage or silence women who made sexual misconduct allegations against you?
No.
Did Epstein or Maxwell ever offer financial support directly or indirectly to legal defense funds related to impeachment proceedings or civil actions against you?
Not to my knowledge.
Do you think a young girl massaging a president is unusual?
So are you asking his opinion?
Well,
You're
he was
asking his
massaged by
opinion?
a young woman. I'm asking if he thinks it's unusual that a president, sitting president of the United States, leader of the free world, that
So I'm
it's
sorry,
unusual
are
a
you
young woman
speaking
would
to,
be.
are you talking to the instance of the
Yes, is it unusual that
the
a young
back
woman would be
massage
massaging?
that occurred while he was not president? I'm just trying to understand. You said a president of the United States.
Former president?
Thank you. Just trying to make sure we're correcting the
Are you
time frame.
filibustering?
No, I don't need
Okay.
to. I'm actually trying to make
I
sure
think
that
I'm
as
pretty
you
clear. He said he
you
was a
said he
young-
was a sitting president.
Excuse me, could we just please go one at a time? Thank you.
You said a sitting president. I want you to be clear so that when he answers
Former
you,
sitting
the
president,
record is
however you want
clear.
to do it. Is it unusual?
I have
Objection
no
calls
idea
for-
if it's unusual.
Objection calls for speculation.
I figured. Did you ever think that all these women around Jeffrey Epstein or Ghislaine Maxwell was odd, unusual, weird, or creepy?
There weren't all that many around when I was there.
How many would you say is not all that many?
I think on this big plane that was working long hours, having 2 to 4 people on there, I thought was, as far as I knew, they were all helping.
Flight attendants in tank tops and jeans, right?
No.
Do you believe you were a victim of a Jeffrey Epstein intel operation? Do you think that you might have been caught up in some of what he was maybe potentially doing?
Excuse me, Congressman, which question are you asking?
I'm asking
Intel
if the-
operation?
First of all, I don't.
Some type of intel operation. I'm just curious because it's been speculated on today and yesterday
understand.
that he may have been an intel asset. Do you think, perhaps knowing what we know now, the proclivity of it all, that he may have been targeting you as part of an intel operation?
I doubt it.
Okay. In 2019, you stated after he was arrested, I guess this would be the second time.
Boy, he don't want to get killed by them juice boxes. I can't believe. I mean, it's bro, I'm not gonna lie though. It's like, bro, this would have been his out. I was targeted. Let me save the world and the country before he don't want to get killed. But
He's
I'm
not a
feeling-
victim.
Well, the reason why I think to Mia's point, I did see him shaking. That's probably why they did the deposition now in New York. He probably has something going on that's really bad and he's on his last leg. Ray, what's your thoughts? Now defend your boy.
Well,
What you think?
First off, I'm gonna say Bill Clinton is not my favorite president. It was Obama. That's when I joined the military, when I saw Obama's inauguration, and my baby mama was pregnant right behind me. So what I'll say regarding that with Bill Clinton, speaking of relationships, Bill Clinton been married this whole time. I've cheated before. I would be shaking like a leaf if I'm getting asked questions from 10 years ago about this broad. I'm gonna be like, oh snap, I'm gonna, unless they got a polygraph, I'm gonna say whatever I feel like is what I'm gonna say. Now I don't condone messing with young women, and obviously Bill did some infidelity, but for these old guys to be living their lives, got away with it, whether it's Bill Clinton, Bill Cosby, whoever on the list, Diddy, and then they in their older age, and then they get pulled into a courtroom, and then they get asked all these questions when they about to go to a nursing home. It's hard enough to keep a woman. Now you got Hillary answering questions. Now he might lose his marriage. Now he's gonna be by himself. Oh, so hey, if they like it, I love it. But I know how hard it is for men with these women.
Who's losing their marriage? What? What? You think Hillary's leaving him? They're going down the ship together.
We about to play that for her next. But Lamb, you said you had something to tell us about the primaries in Texas.
Listen, it's looking rough for Miss K-pop demon Jasmine Crockett. Things are looking rough, y'all.
Cardi B's homegirl? What happened? Can you zoom in?
Yeah, 40% is in, but she is down 6% to Tallarico. Ken Paxton is also gonna lose his spot, but listen,
nigga bitches are out.
Damn.
Cardi B.
Republicans.
Damn, nigga bitches are losing this year. It's a good thing. Their hair hat club is taking an L tonight.
Hey, we got our hairy hats are in place. They're still good.
So she need to hold on to hers. The wind is blowing. The bitch gonna lose.
I mean, she wasn't really that popular anyways, to be honest. I didn't think she was gonna win.
Listen.
She let the Democrats play her. They forced her into the ghetto black woman box, and she played that part too fucking well. So now nobody's ever gonna look at her like a professional.
Well,
she did that to herself.
From her first campaign, Ryan Graham reported from DropSite that she actually asked like her advisors, "What do I need to say?" And that's when she started getting that big tech money, that big Israel money, because she was willing and able to mold into whatever the fuck she would need to do to win. She's like another Kamala. She's a complete technocrat. She doesn't stand for anything. She doesn't have a policy. She just runs on her identity politics. She's really unlikable. I agree. She's pretty.
I mean, I agree. I am for if we can find a Democrat that does their job, I would support them. But Jasmine, really, it's not just for me that she's a Democrat. To Kimberly's point, she is a terrible person. I'm sorry. I know there's fans on here.
She doesn't have any like policies or morals or anything. She doesn't have anything that she stands on. She just goes with the wind, and she tries to, own the Republican base. A lot of, both
just a nigga.
Republicans do that. I think it's silly. I don't think she does. But
Kim, it's simple. It's simple. She's just a nigga. That's all you got to say. She's just a nigga. Listen, we knew she was a nigga from the beginning because that's why niggas voted for her. She's like, oh, this nigga too. Shit, I'm gonna vote for nigga bitch as well.
To Kim's point, she's right. The only thing I've heard Miss Crockett say in the last 12 months is basically Trump is bad. I haven't heard her say anything else beyond Trump is bad. And I'm sorry, but you got to say a little bit more than that. The only thing, doesn't matter. She's on Capitol Hill, Breakfast Club. I mean, everywhere, Shade Room. The only thing she says is Trump is bad. And it's like, well, what are you doing to make life better for people in Texas or even America overall?
Yeah, the Democrats haven't seemed to learn their lesson. They're fucking losers. They like to lose. They like it. But I think also when it comes to the midterms now, I think the Republicans are also digging themselves in a hole with all this war shit. I mean, I like when the Democrats lose. I'm not a Democrat. I'm not conservative either, but I think it's gonna be a pretty close one when it comes to just because of all this Iran shit. But she's completely unlikable. She is really pretty though. I will say that. She has really nice skin.
She fine as hell. She got an ass. I can see the whole world in her pants. That bitch ass is fat. That's all I care about, Jazz. That's all I want to see is the ass walk around crying. That's it. I might run just to see her ass. That's it. That's the only thing I run on. I'm running to see her ass.
The Florida
and that's what
woman
we go run on into.
There's a Florida woman. I think she has the same last name as me, Gonzalez. She is beautiful.
She black? No.
No, actually,
Damn,
I think she's
that don't matter to
Mexican,
me.
which is pretty rare there's not a lot of Mexicans in Florida.
She the one that got away.
What?
You'd be surprised. There's a bunch of Mexicans.
Is there a lot of Mexicans in Florida?
Yeah.
What?
Yes, I was gonna say there's a lot. That sounds like
I've only been to Miami.
there's a lot of Colombians.
I've only been to Miami, and people were telling me that I had an accent, and I don't have an accent. But
you do.
Well,
You do.
I mean, like,
if you think it out, it's okay.
I can hear the tacos in your voice. I'm sorry.
I mean, in Spanish. Well, it's my first language, but when I speak in Spanish, los cubanos, puertorriqueños, they always ask me where my accent is from. I hardly saw any Mexicans when I went to Miami.
True. There's a
You
lot
speak
of Cuban
Spanish for real?
Mexicans. Yeah.
I
Sí,
speak
yo hablo
Spanish
español
as
muy
well.
bien, era mi primer lenguaje.
Doritos, no te tacos, perritos. ¿De qué se tacos suprema? You don't spin on Taco Bell? Ah, come on. Sí, señorita.
There is a lot. I'm in Orlando. Miami's a lot of Cubans. That's true. They're mainly here in Orlando, but Miami is a lot of Cubans. Like, not gonna lie. Oh, okay. So we got a couple more clips and then we'll wrap up. Lamb, I'll have you do this one next. Speaking of stand by your man, the Democrats stand by their men. So, Andre, you know, hey, maybe in the next life you got a chance with Jasmine.
This is the first time you're ever seeing this document. Earlier today, in my second round, I was asking questions, and I made mention that about Bill Clinton, President Clinton's visits to Epstein Island, and that a possible cover-up about those visits, and I was called a liar, I believe, by somebody on the other side of this table. And so I told you
I don't think I did that. Do
that
you?
I would provide this document and go over it with you. This is an interview by the FBI of an Epstein victim. It is 3501.144-032. And on page 8, which I'll give back to you, or I can read it to you. I'll give it this back. If you can read the last sentence.
Would you please read? I'm not interested in reading something. I have no idea what it is. Do you want to read it? Go right ahead.
Okay, I'll read it. I was called a liar over this. So this particular victim stated on the record in an interview with the FBI, Epstein wanted blank, the name of victim number 1, to say that blank, victim number 2, was a liar and that President Bill Clinton was never on Epstein Island. So I stated earlier for the record that Epstein directed victims to lie about your husband's visits to Epstein Island. I was called a liar. This is the
Excuse me, you
document.
were called, that is not accurate. The record will reflect, and the court reporter can read it back with respect to whether or not President Clinton had ever been on Epstein Island. If somebody had represented that would not be accurate.
So I said that
was nobody
Jeffrey
made a
Epstein
statement about
directed
you.
that Jeffrey Epstein directed this victim to state a lie about Bill Clinton never visiting the island. Now on page 7, for the record, which I know you've never seen, there's a fully redacted paragraph, and that fully redacted paragraph in the unredacted files of the DOJ reveal that President Clinton, it redacts his name, and it also discusses notepads that the victim wrote down in phone calls with Jeffrey Epstein because she was told to lie about another victim and lie about Bill Clinton's visits to Epstein Island. I don't know why this information is redacted. And also the attachments in this file, by the way, there were notes. You cannot see those at the DOJ. They are still redacted, which is the reason we're here today. We want to get to the bottom of this and get the truth. My next question is...
Excuse me, was there a question?
I'm making a statement. I want to know if she's ever seen this document before, and she was aware. I was called a liar earlier. This victim was told by Jeffrey Epstein to lie about Bill Clinton's
She answered
visits
that
to...
question,
Okay.
Congressman.
I was just answering the question for the attorney. I have majority exhibit number 20 that I would like to enter into the record. And this is a
Why is our
page
legal team
88
Timu, Mitch
of,
McConnell,
federal
and
case
Timu,
between
Jasmine
Virginia
Crockett?
Giuffre and Ghislaine Maxwell.
That's wild.
On page 88,
So, Lamb, what's your thoughts? I mean, she was getting kind of saucy. She denies everything, but there's so much evidence, unfortunately, from what I'm hearing with Bill.
Yeah, I mean, listen, are we really shocked? I mean, I can pretty much think that everybody knew that the Clintons were either going to plead the fifth their way out of this or essentially obfuscate from the issue completely. Like, I'm not shocked that she is playing this or doing this at all. Like, I don't think really anybody is. I like, even when Enzo and I were talking about this days before, we both said, like, the conversation was, well, they're just going to plead the fifth. Like, I don't really think anybody was expecting anything of substance to come out of this. Like, it's the Clintons. We knew what this was. But damn, Hillary did not age well. That bitch looked like she... They both look like it was a bag of milk left out in the July heat. Like, good Lord. It's just obfuscation. Like, I don't know why so many people thought the Clintons were going to be honest about anything, let alone this.
Kimberly, that's because you're watching on the regular view. Guys, if you're watching, there's two chats. Like if you're watching on the regular view, it's like a smaller pool of people. If you go long ways, it's a more bigger pool of people and you can be involved in the chat. Sorry. I want to put that out there because of something Kim wrote me. But this is the last clip, then we'll wrap up. This is Hillary losing the cool about being asked about money with Epstein.
I'm going to answer your question.
Now you're going to
This was what I spent my time doing.
I'm a survivor trying to look out for other
Well,
survivors trying to
and
get
I
them
was
out.
taking care
You
of
waited
the
6
people
months
who
to
lost
get here today.
3,000
6 months,
lives
and now you're being
at World
defiant
Trade
and
Center.
indignant today.
You asked me
I have
about
met
Howard
with Epstein
Lutnick.
survivors. I'm a survivor myself. You have emails. You've denied that Jeffrey Epstein, that you tried to get Jeffrey Epstein to give money to you.
I did
but
not.
Howard Lutnick was
If
used
you
to
have an
get
email
money.
with me asking Jeffrey Epstein
I have
for
an
money,
email from Howard Lutnick sending it to Jeffrey Epstein and his people to
I
raise
don't-
money for
I don't
you
know about-
for an event, an intimate event for you at his offices
Well,
at Cantor Fitzgerald. You're
look,
going to sit
if
here
you-
today
if you would let me finish.
obfuscate and say to this committee, you didn't try to get money from Jeffrey
I
Epstein
didn't.
when
I
there was an
didn't.
intimate
on her
event
period.
in an email that Howard Lutnick emailed to Epstein's people and Epstein
She
to
doesn't get
him
her
to
period
come to
anymore.
your
I was
intimate
just about to
event
say,
at Cantor Fitzgerald.
shut
Not fucking Hillary. I'm talking about the lawyer.
You want to yell at me? That's fine, but I'll yell right back.
Well,
okay? I am looking out for
it's
survivors.
very-
I'm doing
Hillary
the
don't
job
even
that
have,
you would not
she's not
do
even a
when
real
you used to be
person.
Secretary of
Probably
State.
correct me
Thank you, and I
more.
yield back to
no,
Congresswoman.
On the
I'm
opposite
going to
end of
finish
the
answering the
period?
question, which I have a right to do. I am
Bitch drink
very
blood. Look at her fucking face.
sympathetic to your personal situation. I have read about it. I have seen you testify or speak on the floor about it. And I very much sympathize with not only what you went through, but appreciate your effort to stand up for survivors. I was a senator representing the people who were murdered on 9/11. Nobody lost more people than Howard Lutnick. You can say whatever you want. You can call him and have him appear before the committee. But I knew him as the man who lost the employees that he knew intimately, including his brother. Oh Lord, the distraction is real. Enzo, what's your closing thoughts on the Epstein stuff? What do you think about that last response?
I don't know why she's so defensive. And again, never once have I seen a congressional hearing where lawyers can step in the way that they're doing in this. I think it's absolutely just a political theater show. Like I've been saying for months about this whole Epstein debacle. Like I literally have Epstein fatigue. Like can like we just move on, please, as like a country to actually like talk about real things that are going on. Like this is literally just the not us, right? I'm just saying in general, like the public, like nobody wants to talk about policy. Nobody wants to hold our representatives accountable. Nobody wants to do anything to progress. Nobody wants to actually put people in to bring bills that are everyone's complaining about, child care and homelessness. No one's talking about that and putting people in place. No one's doing that. It's just yeah, Republican bad, Donald Trump, Epstein, Jews, Israel, Iran good. We stick up for Iran now because Jew bad. Like it's literally like, I'm sorry, like, and I've heard it so much tonight on the podcast, and I'm just gonna say it straight up. The amount of low IQ takes that I've heard tonight literally has made my fucking head spin. Like this is just getting retarded at this point. The amount of low IQ takes from people that literally claim that they are intellectual, that they know what they're talking about, that they can claim they can talk about things on a world scale. Like, please take a step back and actually reevaluate yourselves.
Enzo, I would never say that about you. That is so mean. Okay,
Truth hurts,
bro. What the
Sorry.
fuck?
Truth hurts.
I was about to give you a compliment, Enzo. I was say, damn, you know, Enzo, I appreciate you. You never complained about the production, but you just said the low IQ take.
I'm sorry. Like I couldn't hold it back. Like there are some people on here that just made.
And why
low
don't you
IQ
say it on
takes.
here? Why don't you just say
There's
it?
no,
You
there's
know?
no point of arguing.
Why don't you just
with
say it?
lunacy. There's
So
no
you think
point of
I'm
arguing.
low
Because you
IQ?
can't do it. That's what it is.
I have. Andre,
I think that's
have.
what it is, Enzo. I don't think. No,
trust
you
me,
haven't.
I've
You
gone
got
at it.
fucking dog walk, buddy. You brought your buddy over here. He couldn't fucking hold up. He's like, well, sure. That's the greatest take of the night.
Dog walked me.
Well, sure.
No, I just wasn't
Hold on,
going to.
you dog
I just
walked
wasn't
me.
going to
He's like, well,
drag.
I'm
you
just
dog
not
walk.
gonna
No,
do it,
Andre,
buddy.
I just didn't want to drag it out through the entire podcast.
I'll do a
Oh
one-on-one
wow!
debate with
Couldn't
you.
stand
Andre,
10
Andre,
toes.
straight up.
No,
Straight
I'll
up.
stand
Straight
10
up.
toes.
Hold on.
Okay, wait.
Straight up.
let's
I'll do
go.
a one-on-one debate with you. I'll
I
do a
did-
one-on-one.
Hold on. Speaking of which, we will be hosting debates on Sunday night. Andre will be our first debater with Simple Black Theory this Sunday, 8-9. What time, Andre? You pick the time. Let us know. What's the time?
We can do 8 p.m. Yeah.
We'll do 8 p.m. And then we're also working on an anti-Semitic debate with Andre. Andre's going to have a friend, and Enzo's going to bring a friend. I'm hoping it could be a really big name. And, you know, the names we talked about, Enzo, because I would like a good adversary for Andre. So we will have one-on-one debates. I appreciate Lamb for not dragging this on because there's 8 people on the panel, guys. And I appreciate everybody for not dragging it out. Everyone was respectful.
Yeah, like
but
out of respect for Nora, because listen, if this is a normal TikTok panel, I would have just dragged it.
I agree.
But it's not.
I don't think
out of
calling
respect.
people low IQ is respectful.
Well,
True
Lamb
words.
didn't do that, though.
Oh no, not Lamb.
Yeah, Lamb didn't do that.
Yeah, Lamb's cool. Lamb's all right. He's cool in my book.
Now Lamb's all right.
Now I'm okay.
Now
Damn.
he's okay. I'm just kidding.
Oh, nigga can't take a cop. Well, fuck you now. Then we're taking
can,
it
but,
back.
like, damn.
Now
Okay.
you're bad. Now we're not cool.
Okay.
Look,
Listen,
but
I'm okay with being the villain in everybody's story. It's okay.
shout out to the panel. We had some good compliments. Wow, open, honest communication between adult Americans. I have been looking for this for years. This was a nice discussion. I mean, we've all come a far way. I appreciate Andre because Andre is like so civil now. Like this is tame Andre. This is
Now?
tame Andre. Yes. Like,
This is true. This is very tame me. I did not give a fuck way back when.
but why? But
I still
Andre's
don't,
just
but-
better now because now we have a conversation. Now you can. If your point is supreme, it's because your point is supreme, not because you're an out debater. Anyways, nevertheless, guys, this was fun. I appreciate everyone for coming. We're going to start with closing thoughts. We're going to allow our guest, Lamb Chop, to go first. And Lamb, what's your closing thoughts?
Yeah, obviously, I don't want this Iran thing to drag out any more than it should. I would say probably 8 weeks is where I'll start questioning things. Also, people, this week is primaries. Go out and vote. For the love of God, go out and vote. Vote the people that you don't want in anymore out. Like this is where everybody that's been bitching for the past year, go do it. Go vote your people out. Also, if you're a Republican, for the love of God, I beg of you, use your social media and get Joe Gruters fired as RNC chair because he's doing fucking nothing. He has a 90 million war coffin. We don't know who the fuck is running in Marjorie Taylor Greene's spot. Do something. Go be useful. Go be an American fucking citizen. Put your voice out there and fucking get change done. Because if you don't, it's going to be another year of where we have the majority and nothing gets done due to people who are on their deathbed like Mitch McConnell. Thank you.
Thank you. Ladies, next. Kimberly, what's your closing thoughts?
That was funny. Yeah, go and do that. Okay. I just want to say once you resort to ad hominems, you've lost your argument. I can make a point without attacking people, and I also don't get offended easily. You can call me whatever you want. I'll probably say worse things about myself than anybody else can. With that being said, I do respect everybody's point of view. I think we all, at the end of the day, have an idea of what we want and what we think is best for our country. I love this country. I live in this country. I don't live in Mexico. I'm from Mexico. I live here because I want to live here for many reasons. And one of my biggest heroes, Howard Zinn, said, dissent is the highest form of patriotism. That's why I criticize my country. And we can look at all sorts of different facts to illogically feed our paradigm or our point of view. But at the end of the day, if we just look at history, we can predict what's going to happen, and intervention is never good. It's expensive. Americans have already died over this. That is very sad. There's blood on Trump's hands. He's bombed more countries than Obama did now. And I think that we all just need to maybe take a step back and observe things more objectively based on principles and not just cult-like, idealistic, like partisan politics. But yeah, I think it was a nice conversation. Thank you all for having me. And so I would never call you low IQ. Okay.
Oh, well, that was sweet. Enzo, what's your closing thoughts?
Yeah, so my closing thoughts were this was a good episode, I will say that. Here's the thing. I said low IQ, but I didn't say any names, so if the shoe fits, wear it. That's all I'm gonna say. With that being said, we need, as a country, need to get back to real issues. We need to be voting in correct representation to actually get things done in this country. We need to be voting out people that are not doing anything. We need to be talking about policies. We need to be talking about things that are actually going to make our lives better instead of focusing on the stupid little issues and conspiracy theories about we're occupied from within. When somebody can actually show me any type of evidence that says we're occupied from within, then maybe I'll start taking people seriously. Then maybe I'll start taking your worldview seriously. Because other than that, it's literally just fairy tale and bullshit in my eyes. And it's completely... It's the most retarded takes I've ever taken in my life. And I started this as somebody who was not for Israel whatsoever, didn't really care what was going on in the Middle East at all. And now I love it. I love it every single day that people just push me more and more and more to become a Zionist, just to literally clown on people like this, because this is, like I said, low IQ takes. And with that being said, I still think it was a great episode. Respect everybody on the panel. Respect your guys' thoughts. Doesn't mean I have to agree with it. And I'm going to say what I want to say about it. And if, again, the shoe fits, wear it, then that's your fault. With that being said, everyone have a great night.
Thank you. Andre, my man. I'm sure you got a lot to say. I do like the brown. I don't know why they said they didn't like the brown. You look very nice. But go ahead with your closing thoughts.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, we have a lot of pro-Jew, pro-Israel, especially with these black conservatives out there. I've really been trying to nuke these people, but we've been getting censored left and right. We have a mass censorship campaign going on in this country to have people not talking about the war from a negative, especially on the right, from a negative perspective. This is a Jewish war. This is a war that is going to bog us down and destroy our country. And it just shows that we're no longer a serious country when it comes to geopolitics, when it comes to our global stance. We've allowed Israel to dictate our foreign policy. We've allowed Jews to operate in our country and to push our people towards more poison. And it's a serious issue. We have to deal with it. So it's not conspiracy theories or low IQ talking points. The people who deny the Jewish influence, the Jewish supremacy across mainly Western countries. If you deny that, you're denying reality. You're denying the actual problem we're having in this country. So it's important for us to really look at this and examine it from a realistic lens. And, we could talk about policies. Someone talked about voting. No, voting is not going to change anything. You can vote Democrat and Republican. It's not going to fucking change. I've been right-wing all my life. I've been voting Republican for a majority of my life, and I've been voting. Guess what? It hasn't changed anything. Nothing has improved from voting Republican. You're just voting for one piece of shit over the other. Does this piece of shit have less flies or more flies? I'm going to vote for it depending on whatever it is. So voting isn't going to change anything, especially with the cultural and social problems that we have in this country. Voting your way out of this is not a solution. It does not come from that. You have to be loud. You have to be vocal. You have to be aggressive in your rhetoric and combating the shitty identity that we have as Americans. And also, especially for Black people, we have to do that even more. So I don't know what these low IQ boot-licking Jew lovers are doing, but, a lot of them over here just kissing the ass of Israel and just proving the point that they're establishment pawns, or they're just too retarded to know what's going on. So, but we'll prove that out at a different time. So that's all I've got to say. That's all I've got.
Well, thank you, Andre. Gray, what's your closing thoughts?
I want to read a few chats. This person said this is the most down-to-earth discourse I've seen. Usually these types of lives are just people arguing with each other. And then the other one that you shared, Nora, wild, open, honest communication between adult Americans. And I've been looking for this for years. So we're supposed to be having this type of discourse. And this was really about religion. So we argued about politics more than religion, which I think is a win. And this person said, there's neither Jew nor Gentile, neither slave nor free, nor is there male and female for you. You are all one in Christ Jesus. So we did talk about biblical stuff, and we really didn't argue about religion. I know we talking about Jews and Iran, but I think we're speaking of it as Americans. But like Lamb Chop was saying, they just did the primaries. And like I always say on a new party, always vote.
Oh, you ain't gonna talk about Jasmine. Jasmine lost, I heard. But anyways, I'm gonna take from some of what everyone said, and I gotta agree with Andre. No political party is going to save us, but who I do believe is going to save us is Jesus Christ. And on that note, I'm gonna give my time to pray for our troops. Listen, we don't have to agree with why we did what we did. I don't agree. I don't think it was the time to do what we did. However, I do love and support this country, and I love our troops. And with that being said, I'm going to bow my head. If you guys like to do the same, you can. But Heavenly Father, we come before you asking for your mercy upon our nation. Lord, we ask that you expose and tear down every false doctrine, every lie, and every deception that leads people away from your truth. Your word tells us that you are our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. We ask that America turn to your truth and walk in righteousness again. Father, we lift up the men and women serving in uniform, especially those deployed in Iran and the surrounding areas in the Middle East. God, we ask for protection over them. Shield them from danger, from the schemes of the enemy, and from the weapons of war. Send your angels to guard them in every place they go. We pray for their families waiting at home. Comfort them and strengthen them. And Lord, we ask that you guide the leaders of this nation to make decisions that preserve life and pursue justice. Bring our troops home safely. Bring peace where there is conflict, and let your truth shine brighter than every lie in this world.
Super chat.
What's it say?
$20.
Okay, you had to cut me off for that.
Big fan of your videos, not only honest and true, but delivery hilarious.
I was still praying. You had to cut me off for that. It's kind of rude. But anyways, Father, in Jesus' name we pray. Amen. God bless. Good night.
Before we wrap, I want to take a quick moment to talk about how you can support the new party. We are an independent media platform. No corporate backers, no political handlers, just a collection of voices representing all American viewpoints, especially the stories they don't want you talking about.
I'm disgusted with our government, and it doesn't matter which party you're talking about. I'm disgusted.
We are watching an active genocide. I don't know how else to put it. There are thousands of people getting killed every day.
This is the first time in history that an American cardinal has ever been elevated to Pope. It is legitimately make America great again.
Yeah.
Like, they're fighting for illegal immigrants, not immigrants. Illegal. Like, and they burning the flag and shit.
Like I always say, it was a great episode. I'm happy with the wins that Donald Trump's.
Like you heard Nora Skeptic say, we're going to keep bringing like different types of content and things that we know people want to see. And like we always say on the new party, always vote.
If you believe Americans can still have civil discourse, even in these polarizing times, we need your help to stay independent and keep growing. You can support us by donating to our GoFundMe page, becoming a channel member, sending a super chat, or grabbing merch from the New Party store. Every donation goes directly toward growing the channel promotion and our upcoming documentary. And as a thank you, donors will receive an exclusive copy of the documentary 1 week before it premieres. Who is the New Party? We're you, your voice, your stories, your America. We can only do this together. So if you're able, please donate and help us get the message out.